We got the opportunity to speak to one of the directors of the war show, Andreas Dalsgaard. Let's have a look.
I'm the director. We're two directors of a film called The War Show. It's a documentary that takes place in Syria, and it's been filmed by Syrians themselves, telling their story about how the revolution started and how they were young people at that time who threw themselves into this moment. And then it follows the whole development of Syria through the following years as it basically descends into chaos and war.
So the take on it by the Arab audience, how do you think they're going to take such a sensitive topic of your documentary?
This is the Arab premiere of the war show. It's been screened many other places in the world, and this is the place more than anywhere where I truly hope that the film will get a large audience, because I hope and I think that it's a story that many Arabs can recognize themselves within, and it shows a very human perspective, not just on Syria but on being young in an Arab country and curious and trying out and investigating life.
Right. So you touched a very sensitive topic. So how did you get the inspiration? How did you pick up this topic?
Well, I think the whole point of making film and making art is to touch on sensitive topics and to challenge the way we see things, the way we understand things. And for me, films is a tool. Films are a tool to do just that. In the case of Syria, Syria is the conflict of our time. And it's a conflict that has completely disrupted not just the region, but also the political status quo in Europe, in the US. And we're gonna keep visiting this conflict, even though it might end at some point. We'll still need to understand and analyze what went wrong, what happened, and we'll do that for decades to come. So it's important and to tell stories from Syria, and it's important to do it also for the reason that very, very few things come out of Syria, because it's very difficult for journalists to operate there. It's very difficult for filmmakers.
It's very difficult, obviously, to film something about Syria, even as a journalist. So how did you think about this idea of getting everybody to film it?
It was not my idea. They had the idea, and they worked from the beginning with the idea of making a film. It's a group of young people, primarily a woman, a former radio host from Damascus called Obeda. So they step by step worked their way into gathering this footage so that this story could be told. And I came in basically to be that filmmaker with the filmmaker's skill to help them tell their story.
Have there been any politician or political stance that has been taken on the documentary?
You mean from the Syrian regime or internationally?
International.
Well, I think that this documentary doesn't offer